Sup YouTube, it's your boy Shane or SRK here. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a good one. And I told you we was gonna be coming with the content, baby. I got videos planned and we're doing it. I said that if something was hot, I'm gonna strike the iron while it was hot. So one thing that's been hot on YouTube right now is tier lists. And I was like, oh, okay. So people are basically ranking things and giving their opinion and sharing their stories. So I think I can do that. That sounds pretty easy. So I'm not an authority figure on pretty much a lot of things. One thing I thought was, let me look through these tier lists and see which ones I can do for a video. Now, if there's a Tony Hawk's tier list, if not, I will make it. Yo, if this video gets a decent amount of likes, I'll definitely do a Tony Hawk tier list and I will share my stories with that. But this one is super important. If you can tell by the title of this video, it's going to be a cartoon and live action 1990s through 2010s tier list. This is ranked between, and if you don't know how this worked, SS, S, A, B, C, D, and never seen. So a lot of these usually go through A through F. This one's a little different. So SS means it's top tier, like there's nothing else that's better than it. S means it's pretty good, but it's not at the same level as some shows that you've watched in the past. A means it's pretty good. B means it's pretty good, but not as good as A, S, or SS. C is like, it's an alright show. You've probably seen it a couple times and you're like, alright, I can see why people like this. D is like, okay, whatever. And then never seen is obviously self-explanatory, something that you have never took the time to watch. Easiest way to start this is to start with SS and never seen. So let's start with never seen. So if we go down here, we got a decent sized list of all these shows. So looking at this list, the first thing that I can see that I've never seen before is 16. I think I've seen it once on TV, but it's nothing insane that I would want to watch. The next thing I can say I've never seen on this list is the Batman animated series. Big Time Rush is another one. I don't care for that sort of show. The Clone Wars, not really interested in Star Wars either. The next one is My Life as a Teenage Robot. I've watched it a few times, but not enough to remember if I like it or not. I know it was on Nickelodeon for a decent amount of time, I think maybe 2-3 seasons. But after that, it just disappeared. So I have no clue. I don't know anything about it. I've also never watched Sweet Life on Deck. I've watched Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I'm assuming it's almost the same show, except one's on a boat and one's in a hotel. But, I wasn't really into Disney shows like that. So my list might be kind of biased towards Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon because those are the things I watch. Like I said, Wizards of Waverly Place, never heard of it. Zeke and Luther, I've never heard of that one either. So that is my never seen tier. 16, Batman the Animated Series, Big Time Rush, Clone Wars, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Sweet Life on Deck, Wizards of Waverly Place, and Zeke and Luther. So let's do SS because SS is pretty easy, I would say, out of these. So the first one I'm gonna do is Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's a classic show that invokes horror and some very artist tropes that are kind of crazy. It's a kind of chaotic show. What Kurt sees is just insane. There's a ton of episodes in that show that are definitely a trip. The next show that I'm gonna say is an SS tier is Drake and Josh. I mean, how many references in pop culture does Drake and Josh actually have? There's a ton. That is definitely my childhood. I've watched every single episode of that show and I definitely do enjoy it. I think it's a very well written show as far as the time period goes, and Drake and Josh were both great actors in the show. I thought it was honestly hilarious, and I think it's had a lasting impact on pop culture, and that's why I think it's an SS. The next one that I think is an SS is Ed, Edd and Eddy. Honestly, that show is fucking stupid, but I love it. Now, going back, I did not see this. I'd never watched Cory in the House, and I've never watched Gravity Falls, so I have no clue. The next SS show that I think belongs there is Futurama, because I think it's I don't know how to say his last name, Matt Groening's best work. What I mean by best work is the most well written and the most the funniest, and because I mean that's what he's going for. He's making people try to make people laugh or try to convey a message, and I think Futurama does that the best. Now, there's nothing on The Simpsons. The Simpsons is a great show, but when I think of The Simpsons, I think of that of his life's work. So the next one on here is a show that actually didn't last very long. In my opinion, this show right here is one of the most well-written things I've ever seen. And that's Regular Show. Regular Show is so crude, but it's like a child's TV show. One thing I don't understand is how Regular Show was able to get on Cartoon Network at right before prime time, which if you don't know what that is 5 to 7. It's like 15-minute episodes and it literally goes very fast. That show is literally insane. Like, I don't know how they were able to pull that off and get it in there, because the jokes in there are very crude. Like, go watch a YouTube video on like some of these jokes. They're pretty pretty crazy. So another one that's on here is Scooby-Doo. One, because it's literally a classic. Like, you can't not say you've never watched an episode of Scooby-Doo. There's no way. It was on every time on the weekend on Cartoon Network. They have made so many different series, including one with a theme song by Simple Plan, which is, I think it's Simple Plan or Green Day, one of those two bands. The scene where they're chasing each other through the doors and they come out of different doors and then they run into the evil dude every time, it always gets me. It's a great show. Like, it's just a classic. And I mean, another one that deserves to be on this list, and I'm not even gonna say anything about it, and you guys should know it, is SpongeBob. Like, I don't need to. SpongeBob is the source of memes, and now there is a Facebook page that is doing every SpongeBob episode frame by frame and like taking screenshots of it. It's I don't even know, man. Like, people got too much fucking time on their hands, dude. There's a few classics on here, that some that I've watched more than others, but the one that I've watched the most and the one that I like the most, other than Scooby-Doo, is Tom and Jerry. It is the epitome of just like cat versus mouse. When I think of shenanigans, that's the show I think of. That and Looney Tunes, which I don't think it's like quite an SS tier for me, just because I watched Tom and Jerry a little bit more. I do love Looney Tunes characters. I'm definitely like very 90s as it is. So I think that's going to do it for my SS tier. I think like this is a decent list. Regular Show, Futurama, SpongeBob, Drake and Josh, Tom and Jerry, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Scooby-Doo, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. I'm going to go from D tier up, and I think that might be like a little bit easier. First show that I see on here that can definitely go in the D tier is American Dad. I just don't get it, mainly because I don't come from like a conservative, very conservative white family, which is like the show is basically about. And I get the humor on like poking fun at those people because it's hilarious to me. Like, I think it's funny, but I just don't really vibe with the show that much. I don't really like the art. The only thing I can say about that show that I actually like is Roger the Alien, because I think he's hilarious. Same with the Cleveland Show. Like, I don't really get like the whole hype between like shows like that spin off of Family Guy. If you're just gonna like, I know you're trying to make more shows. It's just kind of like the Matt Groening thing where it's like there's The Simpsons and there's Futurama. I don't think they're better than Family Guy, and Family Guy, to be honest, is not even all that funny to me, at least. So the next one I'm gonna put in here is Kim Possible. It's actually a show that I have not watched a lot. I do like Rufus and I do like the characters. The characters are cool, but it's just a show that I just think that's like not for me, maybe. Like, I just don't understand it, and maybe that's why I really don't appreciate it as much as I do. But they are making a live action movie of this and it looks terrible. One that I've missed on here is The Jetsons. That's actually a show I've not watched a lot, and I don't think it's funny, to be honest. Like, it's a show that's for old people, and I'm not old. The next one is the Looney Tunes Show. It's not better than Looney Tunes. I don't even need to really explain myself than that. Like, Looney Tunes is the OG. The OG is way better. And you know, I think that's really it for D tier. Like, there's only like a few shows that I really don't like on this list. So next we're gonna do C tier, which C and B and A, these might be interchangeable, and they're gonna be interchangeable for a lot of people because a lot of people vibe with a bunch of different shows. All Grown Up is the first one that I see that I'm like, Rugrats was way better, but they had to grow up sometime, and I'm glad they made the show because it's definitely like had a lot of themes in it of like high school and middle school, like going through that time period. And it was really cool because I got to see some of that before I went into middle school and high school. I was going through it at the same time. One show that I'm surprised is not on here that is definitely from that area is As Told by Ginger. As Told by Ginger is an S tier. 100%. Like, I would put it in S tier. That's a great show. The next one is Avatar. It's actually a show I haven't watched a lot, so I really can't speak on it. It's definitely like I see the hype behind it and why people really like it. Aqua Teen Hunger Force is another one that I really like, but some of the episodes are a little too much for me. I think it just takes it over the edge, and I'm just like, dude, like, what do I even bother watching this? The next one is Cow and Chicken. That show was odd. One that I say that I miss is My Gym Partner's a Monkey on the D tier. See, and that's why there's like a lot of shows in here. Like, I can't get through all of them. That's one show that I've watched a few times and I don't really get the appeal of it too much. Okay, so another C tier one that I can see is Total Drama Island. That's a show I've watched like every now and again. That's So Raven is another one that I can't say I super enjoy. Like I said, I'm not big on Disney shows. Like even like Hannah Montana could go in this tier, and Phineas and Ferb can go in this tier. They're just shows like that are good, but I just don't watch them. Sweet Life and Zack and Cody can go in there too. So we got B tier. So these are shows that you have watched like a pretty decent amount and you're like, yeah, it's good, but it's not an A tier or S tier show. So the first one that I see that I know is a B tier show is Adventure Time. It's a great show. I don't think it's better than regular show. They both came out at the same time. I think regular show is way better than Adventure Time. Adventure Time's cool. I enjoy it. So next one is Ben 10. Ben 10, in my opinion, before they did all the reboots and stuff like that, if we're talking about the OG Ben 10, that show is definitely sick. Cat Dog is another one. It's a show that I've watched and I enjoy, but in my opinion, it gets lost in the shuffle of a lot of the other Nickelodeon shows. So many other Nickelodeon shows that are way better than Cat Dog. Dexter's Lab can also go in this tier because it's a great show and I've watched it. It gets lost in the shuffle of Cartoon Network shows. I mean, that's literally how it is. Family Guy can go in this tier. Some of the humor is very drawn out, and older Family Guy is definitely way better than like some of the new stuff they've been writing. Or if they even have released anything, I'm not even sure because I stopped watching it a long time ago. And you probably should too. There's way other better shows out there than Family Guy. Like Big Mouth. The Flintstones can go in here as well. It's a classic. In my opinion, I think it's like one of the better classics out of this list that got kind of lost in the shuffle. I've never seen D and C. Of course, Tom, Jerry, and Scooby-Doo will always have my heart. Hey Arnold can definitely go in this tier. Now the Hey Arnold movie is great. I don't think they did anything after that. Maybe they made one more season after that, but I mean, that was it. Johnny Test can also go in this tier. Johnny Test is like a great show. I think this is the one that has the theme song by Green Day. Ren and Stimpy, classic 90s show, that can definitely go in the B tier. Samurai Jack can also go in this tier. It's a good show. It definitely had a great soundtrack to it, and it was definitely well animated. Steven Universe can also go in this tier. That's a show I actually have not watched, but I'm really interested in it. Like, I really want to watch it, like, so bad. The Simpsons can also go in this tier. Now, I'm not a huge fan of The Simpsons. I really do like it, but there's just a lot of content to embrace when it comes to The Simpsons. It's a lot of work trying to get through that. The same thing can be said with South Park too. In my opinion, I just think like South Park, there's just like a ton of stuff, a ton of content in South Park, and I just don't want to dive into it. I like the fact that South Park does do current events. So we got a decent amount of shows left down here. If you've been sticking around this long, I do appreciate that. So let's just jump right into A tier. And one of the shows that I'm going to say is an A tier is definitely Gumball. Gumball is a newer show that's out on Cartoon Network. I think it's fucking hilarious. I don't know what it is about that show. I don't know what it is, but it's an amazing show. I don't care what anybody says. I do enjoy it. I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the better Cartoon Network shows to come out in a long time. Camp Lazlo is also another one. That was like a mid-2000s show that I really did enjoy when I was a kid watching it. Definitely some life lessons in that one. It's also very funny, in my opinion. Flapjack is also another one that can go in this A tier. Flapjack and Gumball are kind of in the same realm of things. I don't know if they're written by the same person. They're definitely not animated by the same person. iCarly can go in this tier. I don't think it's better than Drake and Josh. If you think it's better than Drake and Josh, you're a fucking bum. Vader Zim can go in this tier. Scene Kid Classic. Johnny Bravo, nothing better than toxic masculinity who can never get any girls. It's almost like it's pretty true. King of the Hill can go in this tier. I just like it because of the memes. I mean, that's pretty much it. Another one that can go in this tier is Robot Chicken. There's one episode of Robot Chicken with the rap battle, and it's Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd, and that's my favorite episode of Robot Chicken. Rocko's Modern Life can go in there. It didn't. I mean, it's like a classic show. Wild Thornberrys can go in this A tier too. Like, Donnie's my favorite part of that show because he just goes like, he's just fucking like, he's just funny in my opinion. The Magic School Bus is clutch, and I'll tell you why it's clutch. Because sometimes in school they would show us the Magic School Bus, and it was great, and we didn't have to do anything, and it was amazing. That's why I like it, because it was educational. You know, just like Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy would be an A tier because he definitely got you through school if you were like trying to get out. Teen Titans is an A tier show. I actually like the new Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go. Some people don't like it. I think it's good. And you're probably in the comments writing a really bad comment. Don't do it. Powerpuff Girls can go in this tier too. It's a show that's cool. Like I fuck with it, but it's not S tier show. This is pretty much my S tier. Like if I wanted to go to watch like TV show, cartoon, live action, this is definitely what I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna go one by one here and just explain the breakdown here. The Boondocks. I don't think I need to really explain myself at the Boondocks. It's a show that is just rooted in Black culture and it's great. I think it's amazing. Like it's one of the best shows out there in my opinion. I think it does a great job of like showing like the classic like household where you grow up with like people of color. Like it's funny as hell. Like I think it's like one of the greatest like Black cartoons to exist. It's maybe like, I don't know, it's maybe, well, I mean, there's like the Proud Family. The Proud Family's not on here either. Bro, they missed a couple cartoons, man. The fuck is up with that? Chowder is such a short-lived show and it sucks because it's really good, but it's not S tier. And if it had like a couple more seasons, it'd probably be SS tier. I don't think there's like one bad episode of Chowder that I've watched. Danny Phantom, I'm actually gonna put in the A tier. Like it's a good show and it's definitely got its like rememberable moments, but it's not as good as Fairly Odd Parents. And it's the same dude as Butch Hartman, I believe. Fairly Odd Parents is way better than Danny Phantom. Even the episodes with the little baby, Poof, those are still decent episodes, but all the old stuff and, you know, Shiny Teeth in Me, and it's just so many good memories with that one. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That's a great show. The reason why I like Foster's is because it's definitely unique. And it's definitely like a great perspective on like having imaginary friends and like talking about people who have imaginary friends who like use that as a coping mechanism and like what happens if they're real. Like, oh, there's a house that they literally go into like when nobody wants them and like they can come in and adopt them. Billy and Mandy is a funny show. My favorite episode of Billy and Mandy is either the one with the brains with the musical number or the courtroom scene that came out. It was a special episode with Fred Burger. It's a good episode. If you've not seen it, with the musical number and him having to go poo-poo, you need to watch it right now. Like it's super important. Jimmy Neutron is one of those shows that is a Nickelodeon powerhouse. Jimmy Neutron is just like smart. It was definitely quirky. It had its moments of like this nerdy kid and definitely resonated with me because I got a big ass head and I was kind of smart. So I like fuck with it because I like science. Kids Next Door. There's not much I need to say about Kids Next Door. I think it's fucking rad that they had like this tree house in the, I think it was like number one's house, like in the roof, and they didn't fucking say anything about it, like this giant tree house thing. And there's a bunch of tree houses around the world that have a bunch of kids in it shooting guns at each other. I ain't gotta say more like other than that. Like Looney Tunes, it's a classic, bro. Like classic shenanigans. I don't think it gets much better than Looney Tunes other than Tom and Jerry. Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide was actually a well-written show and definitely had some good tips in it for life survival during that time period. A lot of dumb things happened in that show. I think it was like kind of dumb humor, but it was definitely a really good show. Like I enjoyed it. Rocket Power, one of the greatest, coolest fucking shows on Nickelodeon to exist. In my opinion, I think it's fucking rad. Tony Hawk was in Rocket Power. It was crazy, all right? And they lived in Hawaii and they was just shredding, bro. Like they all shredded. They was all good. Even Squid got good. Rugrats. I mean, Rugrats is like all grown ups down here and Rugrats is up here. And the reason for that is because that's just classic childhood nostalgia. The Rugrats movies are great. You know, they all grow up and shit and like, but the kids are the best. Like, let's be honest. Zoe 101. Too bad it stopped fucking doing it because like she got pregnant and shit. I really like that show. That show is awesome. Like, I think that's like one of JT's favorite like live action shows too. I think we've talked about it before, if I'm not mistaken. But I really love Zoe 101. That's like my favorite live action show on this list. That's my list. In the description, there's the link to this tier list. You can do it on mobile or on a computer. Hit it up and tweet it at me what you guys think and what's your list so we can discuss it. Like I'm down to open discussion, or you can DM me on Twitter as well. SRRKK Twitch. That's me. In the comments, you can also say what you think about my list. You know, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. Like there's definitely a few ones that I can move up and down. Like definitely, I can see how Billy and Mandy could definitely be an A tier, or Foster's could be an A tier. Family Guy we could say is an A tier, you know, because it's King. You know, King of the Hill could honestly be a D tier. Like, there's just a lot of things that like drive that my thinking around it, and I just want to hear what you guys have to say. So without further ado, it's been your boy Shane, or SRK, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Much love to the gang out there.